Hello there. A warm welcome to the program. I'm Olayemi Odunuga, and this is Tech Trends. This week,
we take you outside the shores of Nigeria into Rwanda, where a tech company called ARED is using technology for social good through mobile smart solar-powered kiosks. Using renewable energy, they aim to bridge the digital mile in Africa. Also, Shola Adekoye, founder of Open Innovation Access, speaks on the global cybersecurity landscape and how the world is responding to cyber threats.
Don't forget, this is the program that takes you on a ride in 25 minutes to seek out innovation and creativity that are unique to Africa.
As the world we live in is so unpredictable, the ability to learn and to adapt to change is imperative, alongside creativity, problem solving, and communication skills.
Computers don't create computer animation any more than pencils create pencil animation. What creates computer animation is the artist.
This Rwandan entrepreneur, Henry Nyakarundi, is transforming how people charge phones in his country. Henry is the CEO of ARED, meaning African Renewable Energy Distributor, a tech firm using solar to bridge the digital divide in Africa through mobile solar-powered kiosks called Shiriki Hubs.
Hard tech is hardware plus software built into one. You can call it deep tech or any other ways. And you know, if you look at the digital infrastructure space, internet, storage, computing, energy space, drone, EV, all this require hardware, some type of hardware. And unfortunately, when you look at all those innovations, they're dominated by foreign companies and not Africans. So there's massive gap in have seen innovators that are African that our government needs to solve by better promoting local innovators. Because if we don't start promoting local innovators with how young our population is in Africa, and the demand of employment is massive, then we're going to have huge problems in the future. So there is huge opportunity, but there is also huge challenges that our government needs to solve to really bridge the gap and really promote local innovation over international foreign innovators. Just like any other countries do, whether it's Asia, Europe, or America, you know, you see American company promoting their own innovation, but in Africa, we still have a long way to go.
In many rural and semi-urban areas in Africa, it has now become easier to own a mobile phone, and even though connectivity has increased in some countries, having constant electricity and internet access is still a major problem. Henry sought to solve this digital divide by developing a mini server platform to store digital applications closer to the users and minimize the cost of the internet. The solar kiosk was then built to power the technology and also provide additional services such as phone charging to become a one-stop shop platform.
We have a GPS module on the mini server, so we know where all the solar kiosks are at any given time. And the mini server can work as a cluster, as a group. So actually, third-party developer can actually build application on top of our infrastructure, right? So it's just a way for us to use this infrastructure for more than just the basic phone charging, distribution of digital content. We also want to use that same infrastructure to solve the storage and computing infrastructure gap that exists in Africa. And pretty much that's how the technology works. So we implement all these kiosks in different areas. The mini server can also be implemented in third-party kiosks, in retail places, within buses, and they all work as one. And of course, they're all connected through the internet. One of the biggest problems we have in Africa also is that most of the storage and computing infrastructure that we use as Africans is built outside the continent. So when you want to access YouTube, for example, that video you're accessing is stored in a server somewhere in Europe or in the US or somewhere else. So that information has to come all the way through your phone. But if you store that same video locally within your country, then the access cost is much cheaper. And that's one of the things we're trying to solve as a company.
But running a hard tech company like this isn't easy in Africa. Henry lists hardware, access to funding, and availability of key skill sets as part of the challenges they've had to deal with.
So we've had a lot of challenges developing this technology and this business. For example, on the hardware side, on the kiosk side, the kiosk we have today is our 4th generation kiosk, smart solar kiosk. And the reason the first 2 generations was terrible, because I'm not an engineer that was very naive about the process. The process is very complex when you're trying to develop a physical product. First of all, you have to find the right company to do so. And the first 2 companies didn't have the skill set. We tried to look locally in Africa. We couldn't find anybody. So we had to go overseas in Asia, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because it would be great to see this here. We try to manufacture ourselves, but that was just too expensive. So those are the challenges we have on the hardware side. The other challenge you see in Africa is when you're trying to assemble the product in Africa, most countries trying to tax you on every component. But if you bring the physical product at one, especially if it's a solar product, you get tax exempt in some countries. And if you do get taxed, you only get taxed in that one product. So we also have challenges to solve that issue in Africa, where our tax regime in most countries are not developed to promote small local innovators. The other challenge is raising money. Most investors are not interested in Africa for multiple reasons. They don't know Africa. They think Africa is still back in a war days and having more challenges than we actually have. They don't see the opportunity yet, even though the media is changing. So fundraising is a big challenge.
The solar-powered kiosk is a novel innovation using renewable energy to power its solution. The kiosk are powered by solar panels, provided phone charging solutions, and Wi-Fi.
Faster to get to class, and also you can use it for recreational activities, maybe in the evening when you're done with classes or when you're stressed out, basically.
Trek Scooters is an eco-friendly tech mobility-driven company focusing on first and last-minute transportation for gated communities, starting with schools. The company first launched in November 2021 at the Pan Atlantic University, a private university located in Lagos, Nigeria. Since then, they have expanded to 2 other private school communities, recording over 22,000 rides with their 50 operational electric scooters. Students in public universities in Nigeria have been at home since February 2022 due to an ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of universities. This has delayed the transport company from expanding as much as they anticipated. Trek Scooters was founded and self-funded by a group of 4 friends who experienced how scooters made their lives easy while living overseas and decided to replicate it in Nigeria.
Trek Scooter is our baby, and we are really excited to be on this project at this time, especially when alternatives of micromobility in Nigeria are not clean. And then that's when we see an opportunity in this to bring a clean and also affordable transportation.
The scooters are set to go as fast as 20 kilometers per hour and can be ridden for up to 6 hours before needing a recharge. Users can download the app from Google Play and Apple Store, credit their wallet and follow instructions on their phones to locate and unlock a nearby scooter.
Even if I'm running late, I'm not scared of how I'm going to run the whole 10 minutes journey. I would rather just log in with my phone and I'll be there in 3 minutes.
But while the students love the scooters for its eco-friendly, fun and affordable features, Enima says she still has reservations of safety, a concern that the Trek Scooter team said they're aware of and part of features they will address in their next upgrade.
The scooter doesn't have like helmets or something you have to wear, so that should be maybe one of the things. Helmets and pads, because people that want to ride but like they're learning how to do, they don't know how to ride, so they might fall down, and that'll be a problem. Maybe to scare them to stop riding again.
The new deployment that we're looking to roll out in about 2 months will come with a helmet for all our riders to be able to wear whenever they're riding our scooters. So we are big on safety. And we always preach this or emphasize this in every community we go from the time of launch.
External funding and expansion remains top on the list as they gear up to scale up, including opportunities to teach students how to fabricate the scooter parts, cutting down on imports.
The world is becoming more digitally reliant and interconnected than ever before. And so is our vulnerability to cyber attacks. Technologies that influence how we communicate, work, and learn are providing opportunities while also triggering significant risks across the cyber landscape. Shola Adekoye, founder of Open Innovation Access, speaks on the global cybersecurity landscape and how the world is responding to cyber threats. What's the cybersecurity landscape looking like this year?
Well, it's much better than previous times. There's a lot more awareness now, both locally in Nigeria and Africa, and also internationally this year versus last year or previous times. More major TV stations are discussing cybersecurity on their stations, on their channels. And then also internationally, they're making cybersecurity a topic at international conferences like Davos and GITEX that's coming up in Morocco. The world is also advancing, the use of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning in fighting cybercrimes or cyber attacks. But unfortunately, with all of this infrastructure and all of these mitigation tools and methods, it is still inadequate. It's still inadequate because cyber criminals have also gone sophisticated and have also advanced their attacks, their methods for attacks as well. So we've also seen that cyber criminals are recruiting talents faster than cyber security experts or companies. That's because, also, the level of poverty in some countries is contributing to this, and then also the issues that young professionals are facing is also contributing to the this migration to cybercrime industry versus cyber security industry. So with all of this, I would say that in 2023, it's a lot better. It's more promising. Many countries are doing revisions to their national policies, cybersecurity policies, as well as we saw in Nigeria as well. There's more talks about it, so it's a lot better, I would say, overall. But there's still a lot to do.
Well, according to Cybersecurity Ventures 2022 Cybercrime Report, the cost of cybercrime is predicted to hit $8 trillion this year, and that will continue to grow to $10.5 trillion by 2025. These numbers are quite staggering. How is the world responding to this?
Well, the world is raising more awareness. I mean, that's one big thing, because awareness would go a long way in helping to fight cyber crime. There's a whole lot that organizations, governments are already doing in many countries. Some governments in many countries are still not doing as much, but a country is only as strong as its weakest link, like people would say. So it still lies on the individual using technology, getting on the internet, to still be aware enough to be able to protect and take precautionary steps when cyber threats come through to them. It's still going to be staggering, unfortunately. In Africa, in Nigeria, what we've seen also, it's going to continue to increase as well. Not to be the bearer of bad news, but the increase in mobile technology is also going to come with an increased cyber threat. Because cyber criminals have also devised means that they've also realized that many people in Africa or Nigeria are unaware. And so then most of the digital experience and usage is done on their mobile phones. So as a result, they launch attacks through mobile phones via SMS and all these different other means. So on the average, as more and more users or more and more people in Africa or Nigeria increase their mobile technology use, we're also going to see increased mobile cybersecurity threats.
So clearly, the threat is real and still growing. But how can we lower barriers to entry into cybercrime?
That is a big. I would say it's at a much higher level. It has to start at a much higher level. Many economies, if you notice, many economies that are less economically empowering have more people migrating to cyber criminal industry, because they see it as a necessity, as a way to just get out of poverty and get out of degrading life standard of living that they're forced to be in. So many people see it as an option. They see it as a necessity to just get into cyber crime and just start launching attacks. So to really lower the barrier to that, government have to do a whole lot more, empowering young people, enacting policies that would also encourage startups. We saw in Nigeria alone in 2021 and 2022, Nigerian startups brought in, they secured about 1% of Nigeria's GDP in investments. I mean, that's significant. If with the level of support from government, which is not adequate, but imagine more support from government, enacting laws, more funding available. That would also encourage people to more younger people to get involved in being innovative and devising solutions and means for fighting cyber crimes, and also just improving standard of living altogether. So it would have to start from there, and then also at the individual level, more awareness is going to be needed. I think institutions also have to do a whole lot more. Only about 1% of cyber attacks are reported. So experts can only fight what they know. What they don't know, they don't know how to fight. So as more and more attacks are successful, it also would encourage more and more people to get involved, because the barrier is really low. You are more likely to succeed launching attacks because it's easy to just get through and penetrate companies and penetrate individuals and get away. I think also the government would also have to maybe enact laws to deal with cyber criminals. There have to be, people have to be brought to justice. If there's no consequence for getting involved, people are going to get involved because they're going to get away with it too. So what's the risk, or what's the consequence for doing bad things? If there's no consequence, then people are going to get involved as well and do it.
But is there a plus side to the cyber threat landscape, like an explosion or an increase in job opportunities?
Yeah, there are jobs out there. Just as of 2023 alone, about 700,000 jobs are available. There's just not enough talent to fill these jobs. And then more, some countries like in Africa are just now getting the wind of cybersecurity and getting more aware about it too. So there's not enough talent yet developed to fill those jobs, but there are jobs available. As a matter of fact, Korn Ferry, which is a reputable consulting company, has predicted that if countries continue to go at this rate, where more emphasis is placed on AI and robotics, by 2030 there will be about 8.5 trillion worth of jobs available that will not be filled. So you can imagine how many open positions there would have to be that would be worth about $8.5 trillion across the world unfilled, and what that would mean to fight in cybercrime. So that there's going to be a huge shortage as well if more emphasis is not placed on cybersecurity. So I think jobs are available. We just need to place more emphasis on cybersecurity, make people more aware. I guess maybe also companies also need to compensate people better, so that way people see it as a viable career option, as opposed to all these other areas that are more high paying.
Going forward, what can leaders do to secure their organizations?
Leaders need to prioritize it. They need to take more proactive steps, as opposed to just waiting for things to happen before you report it. And when things do happen, you need to report it on time, because cybersecurity experts know how to fight what they know about. Cyber criminals are coming up with new methods, new ways all the time. And with advancing technology, there's also going to be new ways of launching attacks with people. So companies need to be more proactive. They need to report this attacks when they're successful, so that criminal security experts can devise means to continue to fight this. They need to continue to do more to advance talent, develop talent. Sponsor people to go to school, sponsor people to take jobs in those areas. Offer on-the-job trainings to continue to train people as they come in, as a way to encourage them, and then maybe compensate people more. That would encourage people to take cybersecurity jobs versus AI jobs versus robotics. But if cybersecurity is not prioritized, all these other career options will continue to be more enticing and more attractive to talents, because they're better paying.
Well, that was such an interesting conversation with you, Shola. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Trends.
Well, thanks for having me.
And that's our show this week. If you missed any part of it, you can always catch up on the channel's TV YouTube account, where we have all of our episodes, and I encourage you to watch, share, and like your favorite editions. As always, Tech Trends is here to share insights, trends, and developments happening within the tech space. Until I come your way again next week, I'm Olayemi Odunuga. Bye for now.